There have been at least 10 more attempted attacks on U.S. military bases overseas just since Thursday. That's according to 3 U.S. defense officials who spoke to NBC News. It brings the total number of attacks on American bases to at least 38 since October 17th. And we're learning at least 45 Americans have reported various degrees of brain injury stemming from those attacks. That's more than twice the number previously disclosed. NBC News reports the attacks mostly have been one-way drone and rocket strikes launched by groups believed to have links to Iran. Joining us now, National Security Council Coordinator for Strategic Communications at the White House, retired Admiral John Kirby. Admiral, good morning. I had to read that twice to see if it was true. 38 attacks on American bases just in the last 3 weeks. Can you speak to the extent of the attacks, the response to the attacks, and who's behind them?
Well, as for the extent of the attacks, what we do know is none of them have been effective. They've all either fallen short, or if they got closer, even inside the perimeter of one of our facilities, that there was no significant damage done and no injuries caused as a result, at least not now. And of course, as you rightly noted, some of those soldiers are reporting traumatic brain injury, and sometimes the symptoms take a little bit of time to show up. So we'll keep watching after those folks and see if, in fact, symptoms do sort of surface here in coming days. As for who's responsible, I think while we can't pinpoint a certain group on a certain day at this point, obviously these attacks are all coming from these militia groups that are backed by the IRGC, the Revolutionary Guard Corps in Tehran. We know that for a fact. And again, we'll do what we have to do to defend our troops and defend our facilities.
So, an attack just because it was a lame attack and fell short remains an attack on American troops. What kind of response is the American government prepared to offer as these continue?
Well, if and when we choose to respond, Willie, we're going to do that in a manner at a time of our own choosing, as we have shown that we will do, and we've done it before, and we'll do that going forward.
Admiral Jonathan Lemire, good to see you again this morning. Could you talk to us a little bit more about the phone call, which is the latest in a series of conversations between President Biden and Prime Minister Netanyahu, particularly on the idea of these humanitarian pauses? Can you give us a sense as to what kind of pause the president proposed and what the Prime Minister, if anything, agreed to?
Well, Jonathan, without getting into too much of the detail of the phone call, it is certainly accurate to say that President Biden brought up the idea of humanitarian pauses with the Prime Minister. That is something that we've been talking to him and to his war cabinet about for quite some time. You know, Secretary Blinken was just there a couple of days ago, also brought up this idea of humanitarian pauses. And while I can't say for sure coming out of this conversation that there was an agreement in date and time and length and purpose, certainly that there was a strong expression by the United States that humanitarian pauses are something that we should be considering, should be planning to be able to get aid in and to get able to get people out. And that includes our hostages. Now, on ABC News last night, Prime Minister Netanyahu acknowledged himself that he's open to the idea of humanitarian pauses for just that purpose. So, again, we're going to keep talking to them about this, and as appropriate, we'll see what we can do to help put them in place.
And Admiral, in recent days, there's been some extensive reporting in places like the New York Times, Washington Post, and elsewhere that shows administration officials' sort of frustration with Israel, that they have not accepted much in the way of American guidance into how to conduct this offensive in Gaza, real fears about the number of civilians killed in particular. Can you give us a sense just as to what the White House, what the Biden administration feels right now as to the status of what Israel is doing in Gaza?
Well, again, we want to let them speak to their military operations. I don't think we want to be characterizing it here from the White House North Lawn. But what we can say is that they have obviously entered into some ground operations in and around Gaza City with the idea of putting pressure on the Hamas leadership. And they went in a more targeted fashion than what I think some people believe that they would do, you know, massive formations. They didn't do that. They went in with smaller units for the discrete purpose of putting pressure on Hamas terrorists with, I think, the added goal, and Prime Minister Netanyahu said this himself last night, of seeing if they can't get pressure enough to release the hostages. Now, they're obviously still conducting airstrikes, and we continue to talk to them on a near daily basis about managing their operations in such a way that civilian casualties can be minimized and that they can be cautious and deliberate in their targeting. But we are not providing targeting for them. We are not involved in the planning and execution of these operations. And it's not about guidance that we're giving them. It's perspective. It's the lessons learned of our own experience in urban warfare in places like Mosul and Fallujah. That's what we're trying to share with them.
Admiral, how much pressure are you hearing from other Arab countries when it comes to the operation in Gaza? When you speak to leaders of countries that have been more friendly to Israel, for example, recently, how much pressure do they feel they are under because of the continued bombing in Gaza?
Well, you know, Secretary Blinken's just wrapped up yesterday a trip to the region, and he spent a lot of time with our Arab partners and leaders throughout the region. And they were very candid and forthright about their concerns, certainly over civilian casualties in Gaza and the manner in which some of these operations are being prosecuted. And the Secretary made clear to them that we have expressed our concerns, again, to our Israeli counterparts as well. As Secretary Blinken said, it's not just what you do, it's how you do it, and that matters. And so we've been talking to our Arab partners about the conversations that we continue to have with our Israeli counterparts as well. But they're not shy leaders. They are willing and able and absolutely do express their strong feelings. And we know, Caddy, that there's strong feelings and strong perspectives on both sides here. That's why Secretary Blinken was over there.
All right, National Security Council Coordinator for Strategic Communications at the White House, retired Rear Admiral John Kirby. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you again soon.